So after almost a month I got this end cover for the Series 3 to get recovered, and it took an awful long time by post. Shipping's extremely slow. So we're going to recover it, and I didn't show you very clearly how I stretched the vinyl on this particular job. So I thought, well, we'll do this from start to finish. As you can see, it's had some switch holes in here. I'm not sure if they're going to keep those, but I'm going to plug them up anyway. But it's got some corrosion at the bottom here, which I've got to fix. There's a little bit here as well, but it's not too bad. I think I can just cut that corner off. But first of all, let's get off the cover, the black bit, because I think this vinyl stuck pretty well. So again, we're going to get the hot air gun out and warm it up. And it should peel off quite nicely. Should. Famous last words, eh? Now this one is stuck on quite well. There we go. Once you get a little corner, it's not too bad. Wants to go back now. Bit warm. Very warm. Just a bit at a time. Don't go at it like a bull in a china shop. We want to save as much of that foam as we can get. Nearly there. There we go. That's that off, and lo and behold, that's that off too. The only thing was holding it on was the foam, but that's nice because we want to save that foam. You can see around here it wants to have a finish like this, a nice shiny finish. Unfortunately it hasn't, but we're going to treat that and try and fill it and smooth it to make that corner nice and fill those holes in, but we'll do that once it's glued back on. Here's what we've got to get off here, is this bit. Now I am going to make a paper template of this because the position of these screw holes here and here are kind of critical. There's a bend here. I'm looking at maybe cutting that here. Oh, sorry, you didn't say that, did you? Sort of cutting it here and spot welding a panel on here. But this bit's going to be a bit tricky, this corner being round, because it's not a very nice shape to work with. I tell you what I might just do. That corner's quite stiff. I might be tempted to leave that piece and try it. I don't know. I tell you what, let's give it a sandblast and see what it looks like. After a quick sandblast we can see how badly damaged this panel actually is. It's not too bad here, it's just this bottom bit here. This is quite good to weld to. But what I'm going to do, like I say, I'm going to make a paper template of these critical holes here and here. And I'm going to first, because this is sort of two pieces, it's stamped and joined together, if you see what I mean. I'm going to replace this piece first. Why are you going to do that piece first? Well, that's so I can get my line. So I'm going to just put a piece on the inside of this, chop this off, put a piece on the inside, but it's almost like 90 degrees. It hasn't quite got to this bend, which is good. You see what I mean? So I'm going to mess about with that tomorrow morning, because it's about 7:30 now, and I think it's about time. I've had enough things to do today, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll put the vinyl on. So, as I said last time, I cut this piece out. This is the rotten bit. That's the paper pattern with the bolt holes on. We could actually work it out, the bolt holes from this form here, but of course we're a bit in the dark with this one, and because it has to line up with nylon inserts inside the bulkhead, it's kind of, well, critical that we get them lined up. So again, I'm starting here because this is the awkward bit, you know, that's the difficult bit. So I've really sort of just knocked up a little tiny patchette that I'm going to butt weld into there, if you see what I mean, and that keeps that line nice and square. Now I'm not too bothered if I'm a little bit off, because I'm going to stitch it, the two pieces together. I'm going to butt weld them together, and because it doesn't have to look fancy, that's the thing. As long as that hole is there, we're not too bothered about what it looks like, because nobody's going to inspect it. Ooh, look at that, they did that wrong. You know, we're not making an outhouse for the Pope again, but we want to make it nice and strong, and in fact this metal's actually thicker than this. So fortunately my 100 amp welder has now got a new lead on it. The old one, the trigger broke, and believe it or not, it was cheaper to get a new lead and a new piece completely rather than fixing the trigger. Crazy world we live in, isn't it? But again, so now I can use my 100 amp instead of my 230 and get it on a lower amperage and stitch it up. So let's get that. So there's the piece in. It looks a bit rough. Let's buff it up. So I'll give it a quick buff. Looks alright. Notice that the angle looks, the round bit looks a bit odd, but this is the original edge. This is the original edge, so I've had to make a transition, but when the form's on the top, it's going to be fine because there's a place for the bolt hole. So the next bit is to replace this piece in exactly the same fashion, but this is going to be a lot easier because it hasn't got a bend on. Alright, and all I'm going to do is cut this piece off here and make another one, but I'm going to make the other piece roughly, rough, first, and then see what it goes like. But now you see, this is why I didn't weld down here, because we're going to weld a new piece onto there and make it nice and strong. So that's the piece done. Took a bit of while because every man and his dog's been down this morning, but the piece fits lovely. You've got a place there to put provision to put the holes. Here and here is the right height. Perfect. Now before I paint it, I'm going to punch the holes in. How I'm going to do that is where I've marked out the holes here, right, I'm just going to put a punch through and then transfer that mark to here, sort of thing. You see what I mean? That's where it wants to be. So that's going to be alright. I know it's a bit rough. I might just put a little bit, well, is it worth putting filler on? I was going to put some filler on it and I thought, what the hell? It's got a foam on it. Who's going to see it anyway? I'll put some paint on it just to protect it, you know, stop it going rusty. So that's the next thing. Let's get the holes in. Roper Whitney. Not made by Whitney Houston. Find the hole. It's a little bit off, that one. A little bit high. So I want them just a little bit lower. Of course, it's an awkward damn shape to work with. It's even more difficult to show you. You get the idea. There's the holes. That's the rough position. Now I'm going to punch them right in the middle of that hole. So the next thing, paint. I'm going to put some paint on it, just to protect it from rust. Like I say, I'm not bothered about the finish, nobody's going to see it. And, I mean, if they were going to see it, wow, we'd do something completely different, wouldn't we? Go and buy one. Right, let's get some paint on it. There we go, we'll leave it to dry, and then we'll stick the foam on. I was just going to say, where have I put it now? I measured up the thickness of this steel originally. No wonder it was difficult to weld. It was only 0.5 millimetre thick. It's not very thick at all. So anyway, we'll leave that to dry. It looks kind of nice, you know. Looks alright, doesn't it? I mean, you wouldn't throw it out. And then we'll, like I say, we'll stick the foam on. And once the foam's stuck, then we can do the vinyl. Right, back again. So this is now painted and looking alright. Glue. This glue's getting a bit dry. So a nice even coat, both sides, because it is contact adhesive. Now, it's 20 to 2 on a very nice sunny Saturday afternoon. I'm just going to pop and see Jim for a few minutes, then we'll come back and we'll stick this on, because we're going to leave that to flash about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes actually, because we want it to bond really well. The problem with contact adhesive is a lot of people rush, spray it on, bang it together straight away, but they don't give it time to actually dry. And that's the important thing, because I mean, look, you see, that's it's tacky, but it's not correct. You'll see what I mean. This is drying really fast today. Now it's 9 minutes to 2. Nice and dry. Line up your holes. Stick it on. Alright. That's it stuck on. Don't let it come off. Now, I've got another errand to run. So this time I'm going to fill up these holes with spray foam. See if we can repair this corner here. See, it's a bit nasty. And yeah, the rest of it's pretty good. It'll cover nice. But like I said, there's a few little bits here that we need to fill in. So let me go and get my spray gun, like this, and we'll put the filler in. It's not a spray gun, is it? It's a injection gun or something like that. The nice thing about these guns is that you've got some control. You see, you can have it just barely coming out, look. Right. Doesn't matter too much about that bit. Because the vinyl will cover over it. Not sure if you can see on that. I'm sort of on this bit here, I'm just sort of moving it around a bit so it will bond to the existing foam rather than just sat on top of it, because I've got to sand that bit. Yeah. So, we'll let that harden off. We'll let that harden off. It doesn't look much, but it'll look nice when it's done. And I'll go and do another errand. Important. Shut off the gun when you're finished. Back soon.